Now that we know how to add, subtract, and multiply fractions, the last question is, how do we divide them? And in order to answer that question, we need to recall, what is it that we want division to do for us? And the answer is, we want division to be the opposite of multiplication. That is, we want the question, 5/3 divided by 7/2 equals what? To give me the answer to the question, 7/2 times what equals 5/3? Alright, we know enough about multiplication now to figure out what this missing fraction has to be. Notice I've chosen my example so that all of these numbers are prime, so the only way that anything could cancel out is if, for example, 2 were also a prime factor of a numerator somewhere. So this is our goal. We want to multiply our 7/2 by some unknown fraction and get 5/3 as the result. Well, when we multiply 7/2 by our unknown fraction, our numerator is going to be 7 times whatever our unknown numerator is, and our denominator is going to be 2 times whatever our unknown denominator is. Now, 7 is a factor of this numerator now, but 7 is not a factor of 5. So it must be the case that when we do our multiplication, we get a 7 in the denominator, and the 7's cancel. Well, 7 is different from 2, so 7 must have been in the denominator of our unknown fraction. Now I haven't got anything left in my numerator, and I need to get a 5 there. Well, the only way I can think of to do that is by multiplying by a 5 somewhere. And the only place that that 5 can have come from is from the numerator of my unknown fraction. Alright, now my numerator is what I want it to be. I'm going to follow the same line of reasoning for my denominator. 2 is not a factor of 3, so the 2 must have canceled out somewhere. 2 in the numerator must have come from somewhere. It must have come from the numerator of my unknown fraction. And I need to get a 3 in my denominator. That 3 must have come from somewhere. It must have come from the denominator of my unknown fraction. So, what do I have to multiply 7/2 by to get 5/3? It's this thing. 2 times 5 is 10. 7 times 3 is 21. I claim that 7/2 times 10/21 equals 5/3. Working it out, 7/2 times 10/21, well, that's 7 times 10 over 2 times 21. Numerator factors is 7 times 10. 7 is prime, but 10 is 2 times 5. Denominator is 2 times 21. 2 is prime, but 21 is 3 times 7. So my numerator is 7 times 2 times 5. My denominator is 2 times 3 times 7. 7's cancel, 2's cancel. We are indeed left with 5/3, just the way we wanted. Okay. This process that we just used is incredibly tedious. We don't want this to be our usual procedure for dividing fractions, right? Well, let's take a look at what actually happened here. What we saw is that 5/3 divided by 7/2 was what we got when we took 5/3 and multiplied it, not by 7/2, but by 2/7. Right? Our 10/21 is the result if we take 5/3 and multiplied it, not by 7/2, but by 2/7. Okay, this gives us a slightly weird procedure for multiplying fractions. We'll gain a little bit more insight into this in the next video, and a lot more insight into this in a future unit. What's going on here is we rewrite the division as multiplication by the reciprocal of our original divisor. Right, the reciprocal is the fraction that we obtain by switching the numerator and the denominator. And then once we've rewritten it as multiplication, we multiply normally. So let's see an example without the tedious derivation. Right, let's divide 18/25 by 12/35. Our first step is to rewrite it as multiplication. 18/25 stays the same. 12/35 we rewrite as multiplication by the reciprocal. Instead of dividing by 12/35, we think of this as multiplying by 35/12. So, my numerator will be 18 times 35. My denominator will be 25 times 12. Now, even though I haven't been told to simplify, I'd just as soon not have to find out what 18 times 35 is. So I'm going to go ahead and factor these. My numerator is 18 times 35. 18 is 2 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. And 35 is 5 times 7. My denominator is 25 times 12. 25 is 5 times 5. 12 is 3 times 4. And 4 is 2 times 2. So my fraction, my numerator is 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. My denominator is 5 times 5 times 3 times 2 times 2. 2's cancel, 3's cancel, 5's cancel. That's it. In the numerator, I'm left with 3 times 7 is 21. In the denominator, with 5 times 2 is 10.